What's up, everybody? My name is Brad, and today I'm back with another book review for you guys, and I'm going to be talking about 1,000 Miles to Nowhere by David Curfiss. I did listen to this on audiobook, and I did receive a free code for the audiobook from the author. It wasn't necessarily for review consideration. The author just had free audiobook codes available on Twitter. I reached out and was lucky enough to get one. But everything I do read, I do like to do a review on for the channel. I did want to mention real quick that the audiobook was narrated by Neil Thorne, and we'll get into the synopsis real quick and then get into my thoughts and everything about the book. When a stranger shows up and infects almost everyone Matt Tanner knows with the zombie virus that destroyed the world 15 years prior, he's forced to make a decision. Flee with only a handful of survivors or stay in the mountains and rebuild. But when Matt discovers that the stranger was carrying a letter addressed to him from someone he thought he'd never hear from again, he's forced to reconcile demons from the past with a chance for a future with the brother he left behind. Avoiding the withered zombies that roam the wastelands and the flesh-eating humans that stalk the night, Matt struggles to find the balance necessary to keep everyone alive in his own mind sane. But when things go wrong and he watches friend after friend die, can he survive, or will the wastelands consume him too? So I've said it on the channel before, and I'll say it again. I'm not a huge fan of zombie fiction. Back when the Walking Dead show first came out, I was really into that, the show and the comic books. But after a while, the tropes, they've been done 1,000 times before, and in my opinion, the genre has grown boring and stale. Now, in saying that, I'm going to eat my words with this review because 1,000 Miles to Nowhere by David Curfiss, it reanimated my perspective on what well-done zombie fiction can be. And this one was done very, very well. Obviously, there are zombies here. The world has gone to ruin. We find ourselves in this post-apocalyptic setting. Those who do roam the world, not seeking out human flesh for their next meal, are struggling to survive in this savage land. So all that sounds familiar so far. We have zombies, post-apocalyptic setting, small groups of people trying to survive. But really there, the comparisons stop to other zombie fiction that I have read. If you strip all that stuff away, at its core, what makes this book shine and stand out above the rest is that its focus is on the people and the characters. The relationships and the bonds that they have forged through survival and struggle. The camaraderie and the sacrifices that they are willing to make for their families and their loved ones. All this stuff combined with the zombie stuff makes this book crawl to the top of the corpse pile and really stands out above the rest. The book, it's not focusing on what caused the apocalypse to happen, what started the outbreak. The story dives in, and we're already 15 years deep into the post-apocalyptic setting, 15 years deep into this zombie outbreak. So we're not here to focus on what caused it to happen. We're not looking for a cure here. And because of that, the story, it feels smaller, it feels more intimate. Like I said, our focus is on these characters. Their day-to-day lives, their lives minute by minute, hour by hour, second by second, and their survival and just holding on to everything that they hold dear to them. Since it is a zombie book, I will touch on the zombies real quick. I did like Curfiss that he mixed and matched sort of zombies from different genres together. We sort of have your fast zombies here, I think 28 Days Later zombies, and they're called Ragers in the book. We have those, and then we also have your more normal, sort of lumbering, mindless dead. They're called the Withered here. And I liked that there was a combination of the two mixed together. It increased the danger level, increased the threat level, and you never knew what our characters were going to encounter behind that next closed door. But the main attraction here is the characters themselves. We follow Matt and a small group of survivors. But group is not really fair to call them. We follow Matt and his family of survivors. Our characters, they're just more than a group of people that have been thrown together by circumstance. They are a family. And family means more than just blood related. They are related through the bonds that they have forged, their brotherhood and sisterhood, the love and the trust that they have formed for each other throughout these years of struggle and strife that they have gone through. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that there is a high body count in this book, not only from what the synopsis said, but being a zombie book, people always tend to die in zombie books. And going in, you're getting attached to these characters, and knowing that going in, it doesn't lessen the blow any when we do lose a character on the page, when they are killed or devoured or murdered, whatever it happens. It doesn't lessen that blow because you do feel that attachment for the characters. They are the star of the show. They don't take a back seat to the zombies here. Matt and his family, they are fleeing across the wastelands after their home. Their community has been ravaged from within and destroyed by a stranger that was infected by the zombie virus. As they traverse this dangerous landscape, Matt is forced to make life and death decisions. Decisions that are either going to save the ones he cares for or put them directly in harm's way. These decisions, these burdens, they weigh heavily on Matt's conscience throughout the book. Being responsible for the lives of others is a tough cross to bear, especially when you make the wrong choice. It leads to the death of a loved one or friend. Every tough decision he's forced to make is just another crack in his psyche, and a person can only take that amount of pressure and weight pushing down upon them before they eventually shatter. We get to watch as Matt tries to pick these pieces up and maybe fit those pieces of that jigsaw puzzle back together once again. It is all about the zombies as far as our main threat, but I did want to mention the human threat as well, the human villains. To me, the human villains always stand out in books more so than any monster or zombie or creature, because we can relate with the human villain more. And the ones here are no different. They are depraved and insane. They have fallen down the well of madness and are never going to be able to climb out again. The scenes where humanity is pitted against each other in the book, those were some of the most chilling scenes for me that took place here. The human villains, they are menacing and terrifying and depraved. And like I said, those stood out above the zombie threat for me. I love a great human villain. It's always the scariest thing compared to any monster you can throw upon the page. In closing, full of love and loss, fear and regret, 1,000 Miles to Nowhere by David Curfiss is overflowing with primal human emotions. An utterly bleak tale of survival and sheltering the last flickering flames of hope before they are snuffed out and the final shreds of humanity are plunged into darkness. I highly, highly recommend checking this one out. If you are a zombie fan, I think you'll love this book. Even if you are not a zombie fan like myself, I think there is a lot to love here for you. It's not just about the zombies. There is a strong beating heart and emotional core to this book that's all about these characters. For me, I rated this book 5 out of 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. I really liked David Curfiss's writing style. He took me to places I wasn't expecting to go, and I said it was bleak, and you all know if you've been a fan of the channel for any amount of time that I'm a sucker for a bleak story with very little hope. There's something about those I'm really drawn to, and this one was no different. But again, that's all I have for you guys today. I highly recommend this book. You should definitely check it out. I thought the narrator for the audiobook did a great job. I really dig the cover art. I'm not sure who did the cover art, but just looking at it, it really stands out and makes me want to read it, even without knowing anything else about the book itself. But anyway, this has been my 5-star review of 1,000 Miles to Nowhere by David Curfiss. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.